everybody, it is Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel. You guys should subscribe.
So I haven't
buy
seen...
our merch, all
yeah,
that sort
you
of
guys
stuff. Wait,
can...
I'm not done yet. I have an
Okay.
explanation. Anyway, so this was requested by Diego. He's a $10 patron over on Patreon, and he wanted to use his first video ticket on this World of Remnant, the
everyone remembers their first.
Aesir project, I guess?
Aesir? Aesir? I don't know.
Anyway, I hope that the person that made this is okay with us making a video about it. If you're not, I'm sorry, but they really wanted us to like talk about you, and so I hope it comes from a place of love and like
and also
all
like
that stuff.
It's free on the internet, so we probably can link the original video.
Yeah, we're gonna link the
Watch
original.
Watch it, because hopefully,
obviously.
because I've seen this around. Because when I showed my girlfriend Ruby, I also had to explain like lore, so I'm just like, let's watch the World of Remnants.
And then you saw this one,
and I sat her down. I'm like, that's not a real one, because it was in like, because there was an official like what I thought was an official playlist,
and then that was
one
just in there.
Was on like at the very bottom of the official playlist, so I almost played.
But yeah, I'm excited to watch this because I always like seeing fan projects. Like a while ago, somebody asked us like, could we do a reaction to the character trailers like that person made, like the one with Angel that kind of looked like mice and had like the black
one a while
lips
ago
or something. We did something like that, but like the thing is that I had already seen most of those, I think, and so that was kind of like, you know, that's sad because it's like I've already seen it. I'm sorry, I can't fulfill your request. But we did
a video about that,
you know,
where we talked about how people thought that one was like especially good. But then I think a different person did a similar, like they did
and she was blind
intro,
and like all that stuff. Yeah,
but a different series of videos where they did like kind of what they did for the first season of RWBY with the black and yellow and white and red trailer, but for
anyway, we're just rambling on, so we're not going to count this time towards Diego's poor video ticket because it's the 5 minutes and then 5 minutes of discussion after, roughly, right?
Well, this is, you know, pre-discussion.
I guess, but this is like, we're wasting, like, I don't want him to think we're wasting his time. Well, let's do this.
Should I be talking about this? It doesn't matter.
This reminds me of,
we've got to learn
like, fan-dubbed anime back in the day. When they wouldn't get like official dubs.
Where to start?
So it would just be some rando.
A little background on the protocols back then should suffice. Alright. Many, many years ago, dust and its nature was still very much unknown. We were aware that it was possible to fuse dust directly into one's own body.
Oh, hey, wow. Did they make this themselves? Like, that's crazy.
Weaponry.
Which is
and
pretty
over long
good.
Periods of time,
but it's also like, that's Hazel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
They predicted Hazel. It even kind of looks like Hazel.
I think it came out after Hazel.
They were
it did?
Probably.
Pretty much.
I'm just saying,
unless they're like a prophet.
Anyway. Allowed to do extensive research into this field. But that didn't stop people.
Is the whole place burning?
Deep in the deserts of Vacaville, a group of private scientists,
hey, it's no matter nowhere,
unknown to the government, began conducting an illegal human modification project called the Aesir Project.
Aesir. All right, there
so
we go.
were all wrong.
This project was a former Atlas politician. Former, as
Lisa
in she
Lavender?
proposed this project to the Atlas High Council and was exiled for it.
Yikes.
People selected for the Aesir project to become Aesir are chosen because of a specific type of semblance. Absorption. That means the user can absorb an energy source,
are so
whether
open.
it's kinetic energy,
well that's like
energy,
Yang, isn't it? Oh yeah!
Aura, whatever.
Oh, that's
Aesir
so
project
cool.
used people
This is so well done.
absorption
Oh my god.
In the beginning
I didn't
months,
expect
they
this.
had
Like, this
conducted
looks real.
experiments
Was
on
this?
those people.
No, this.
Horrible things like injecting their body with.
I've seen this.
No,
Really? Really? You can't do needles even when they're fucking.
As much dust as possible. Sometimes they injected dust powder into the subjects' bodies just to see what would happen. The results were... God, I hope your imagination isn't very vivid, because I don't want to say what happened, and I'm sure you wouldn't be able to stomach it either.
Apparently we weren't able to stomach a fucking needle, so
I
guess not.
Their subjects could actually survive the following experiment.
Well, this is cool, man. Like,
they began
merging
dust directly with the subject's bones.
Really?
This was because dust would not bond with mature blood cells, but it would bond with blood cells still in formation inside of the bone marrow. Or at least that's how I understand it.
I like how this person was like, I'm not a doctor, I don't know how this shit works.
Experimentation was that a subject's aging process and metabolism was changed significantly. Their bodies grow half as fast as a normal human's, and they became drastically more sensitive to cold temperatures. The result
they're super
of their
soldiers,
more
but they get a chill easily?
were the Aesir. People who could absorb energy straight from dust crystals, store that energy in their own bodies, and then project them outward. If it wasn't released over a long period of time, the dust energy inside them would react with their aura, burn it away, and build up exponentially until it erupts out violently. They learned this the hard way. The scientists didn't care how many people they lost. Looney Tunes
really
they just
quite grim.
Learned and became more careful when testing out the successful subject's abilities. That's what the real nature of the Aesir project was.
Exploding bones.
Its goal was to create a fighter that could gradually amplify the power of dust that is absorbed in the body. You see, they wanted to create a perfect super soldier, capable of weaponizing pure dust without guns or machinery. These soldiers were to be an insurance plan in case another great war broke out. This was happening just in the way.
Oh, do you hear it's getting more distorted?
People were scared paranoid, I mean. The Great War was terrible for the people left undefended.
Yeah, it was.
No
also,
one was protecting
these guys look like a K-pop act.
Oh, God, Hunter.
Like at the beginning, they just see different colors.
You leave the K-pop act
alone.
alone.
Got to a stage of testing where Aesir could project lightning fields, though. At some point, one subject went berserk.
This sounds like the prelude
This
to
wasn't
a
within their calculations. Yeah, she did happen to suffer from manic depressive disorder, but for some reason they didn't think that would have an effect on the dust energy she absorbed.
I don't get lasers. What the shit?
You want lasers, Hunter?
I love lasers.
The subject was earmarked for euthanasia, and unfortunately she found out. In her panic, the fallout from her uncontrolled dust energy destroyed the laboratory and killed the researchers who ran the facility and every test subject besides her.
I wonder if anyone had ever made fanfiction based off this
remained of the people involved in the Aesir project in vacuum.
I mean, it's very well done too. Like, I'm surprised like the animation
no one ever
and all
found
that stuff.
The ruins of the laboratory. Supposedly, nobody survived.
Supposedly.
Except for my favorite OC.
Well, I like her. She's cute.
They look like they have... Supposedly. She's cute. She doesn't have... So I'm guessing the woman speaking...
Copyrighted music, maybe.
The woman speaking in is probably her, I'd imagine.
Maybe. That would be interesting. That would be like a nice roundabout.
I'm guessing.
Sort of way.
They seem, because it had the way she says, like, and no one survived, supposedly. She also had, like, the fire eyes, similar to how the maidens do.
But yeah, I really like it. I mean, obviously it's very well animated, and I like the idea. Like, we've always sort of talked about, at least here, like...
So that's
there
who did it. It looks like, it was just done by one or two people.
One person.
Two, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
Which is pretty impressive. It has a solid Monty. Oh, that's a classic fan fiction. Like, I don't own this. This is the property of...
Wait, was there something at the end? Oh, it was just like the picture of the...
Yes.
That's so cool, man. Well, here's my thoughts, is that we've always sort of talked about, like, oh, Neo is an Atlas experiment. They've combined 3 people's auras into one person, and that's why she's so weird. Or, like, you know, just other stuff like that. Like, Adam was experimented on and, like, had dust injected in him, and that's why he glows red. Like, we've sort of talked about that stuff before, and so, like, this is sort of connecting with those ideas. Like, ideas that have already sort of gone around with certain characters. Like, especially with Adam, I think we talked about this before, but a lot of people thought that he literally had dust inside him, and, like, that was a popular idea for a while, that he was able to do that. We don't know. I mean, he probably wasn't, or else I'd talk about it already. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is sort of a more, like, realized version of that. And at the same time, like, why wouldn't they try? Like, why wouldn't they try to infuse dust with humans, especially when dust is the only thing that keeps people alive, when you think about it. Or almost to replicate the powers of the maidens, because you could obviously connect this with the whole, I guess, like, with the I don't want to say with the whole Ozpin stuff, but it's sort of like the maidens use magic without, you know, semblance. Like, they can just do anything. They can, like, poof, like a tornado, and, like, whatever, like, without, like, weapons, without semblance, without any of that. They just sort of use their hands. And so with this, it's like, if they're projecting the dust out of their body, even though they do need to have the dust injected, it is sort of like that. Like, it's trying to replicate, like, the maiden powers, and you could say, like, maybe that's why this started. Maybe, like, Atlas or whoever Right, they were trying to think
or
of...
Vacuo,
or
they said.
Well, they were Atlas people that went to Vacuo, but it's like, you know, whoever was like, oh, we should try to replicate the maiden powers to the best of our abilities, and then we would be able to have more protection.
I want a maiden.
Because you only have 4 maidens, and it's magic, right? So if you want to replicate that as close as possible, you would have people that can...
RWBY, you could argue that, like
dust out of the hand.
That canonically in the show, could be like what Penny was, just like a really good soldier to act as like Atlas version of what a maiden could be.
Exactly, or like to harbor the maiden powers herself. So I really like it. I think a lot of thought went into this, obviously. I do like Hazel, like his little thing here, obviously, because one of the big things, like, of the world of Remnants, if that makes sense, was including other characters, like their silhouettes or whatever, like Ruby or Blake or like Winter. I remember in the Atlas military one, you have all these faceless people and then Winter silhouettes. So
it's really pretty on par with the other stuff. You can tell that I think the actual they were like just I think quicker paced, but these are still pretty good. They have a very similar, like very coherent art style. I think
this was so cool, like Adam's little.
I noticed that what they do in this one is they use more like particle effects, like with the thunder and the explosion than the actual one.
I mean, here's the thing: World of Remnants are discontinued, so that's a big oof. Like, it doesn't seem like they're gonna do them anymore, which is a shame. But it's also like it's
because like I don't think people it was always kind of annoying because it's like, well, just show us like and like put.
I would like though like a RWBY Ultima, like how Kingdom Hearts Ultima books, like these giant guides that also have the director's interviews. Like, I think that would be cool to sort of extend lore to, you know, instead of necessarily YouTube videos.
Well, Rooster Teeth did something similar with Red vs. Blue. But I feel like you'd have to wait for like RWBY to be finished proper.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, happen.
I also like, obviously, this person's like bloody now, and so like that's a big oof. But yeah. Like
I can't
10 out of 10.
that
really
made you flinch.
I hate needles. I hate needles so much. You guys don't understand. But yeah, this seems like a really like interesting like
more particle effects, like the thunder and the it's very fanficky. I dig it.
I mean, because like you could have if there were.
I still love skeleton boys. Spooky, scary skeletons.
You can make a team out of that, right? Like usually it's a team of 4, but like what if this red guy's just evil and then they all have to like recapture their brother or something? Or it's like Chase, Kazu, Val, Cammy, and Yaz. Like they're all Genlock
I guess it
colors.
is. Yeah, they are Genlock.
This is like the Genlock AU. I mean, this was before Genlock. I'm assuming like this person made this, but all I can think of is like, oh yeah, they were like Julie and Chase. They were like the super soldiers.
But I think the idea is that the woman, you can tell with the voice distortion and just kind of different beats that you get the idea that the woman speaking is the
and like how she gets more distorted, like more angry, like that would make sense too.
I hope that'd be cool if they did more of these, although I can't doubt that. This seems like something
This seems like it would take a lot of work.
This seems like something they'd put in like their portfolio if they wanted to get a job in animation.
Yeah, or and so like that's the other thing, right? I saw this thread on Twitter where it's like teachers tell their students not to do fanfic art and then like all of that stuff, but they got hired like based off like their favorite thing in their portfolio, like by people looking was this drawing she did of like Fred or who's the brother in Harry Potter that's alive? The twins. Which one's the alive one?
I think George died. I think Fred's alive.
So anyway, Fred like looking at the window of the prank shop that they used to go to or whatever that's like old and abandoned. But anyway, the point was like people were replying with their own experiences, but the point is it's like fanfics, like being able to take something and then make it your own, or being able to replicate that style or make something that fits in well. Yeah, exactly. Like people look for that, right? Like jobs look for that. Like other people that were doing Disney fan art, now they work for Disney because Disney was like, we want that, right? So like basically what I'm trying to say is never give up on your dreams. make stuff like this, guys. No, like seriously.
Good, never fall up in your dreams.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying though. It's because encouraging people to do stuff like this so they can put it in their portfolio.
How many times has this been viewed, out of curiosity?
Okay, so you guys are going to see on my other tabs.
10,000?
I don't think I have anything that weird in my tabs, so it's fine. Rooster Teeth needs to hire you, so that was
not as like...
Dang it, so well done.
This doesn't
Just you, Wolverine, that's funny.
This doesn't seem to have gone as viral as like some of those other ones we discussed earlier.
Well, maybe we can help it. I don't know. Like, we don't have like the largest audience ever. No. It's just like... But I do think the narrator is the girl in the video, the survivor of the project. Nice. I love how people are like theorizing, like stuff like also those are just the video stats, like that's just a plugin that I have on my computer, but yeah. But yeah, I hope that like this person keeps making stuff.
Well, I mean,
like,
we could have gone
my words for them if they.
I would like to hope someone actually
watching.
made like a fan fiction, like in writing about this character. That could always be.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting, like people's OCs.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, I always find that they may not always be good. There's a lot of bad OCs out there, but just conceptually, I find it very interesting how people view pieces of media.
Yeah.
And you can learn by how they view pieces of media by seeing like how fan fiction changes, or by how people make AUs or OCs.
So yeah, so like.
I feel like I've said OC and AU. I feel like I should just start whipping out more fan fiction talk. Like, hey, wanna...
Anyway, that's like, this is the end. 10 out of 10. Like, I like this. I really like this. I wish I was creative enough to do something like this. Because even though I write my ideas down, like, usually it's just us talking about them, right? Like, to actually put it into art, like, that would be so cool. But I'm just not inclined that way. So I hope that people, like, sort of take note of this. Go watch it. Go support the person that made it. All of that sort of stuff. And yeah. So we will see you guys later. Bye. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all of our lovely patrons who have decided to support us over on Patreon. If you guys want to join up, there are a bunch of cool rewards for you guys, and some of the fan favorite rewards you guys could say are getting early access to our videos, being able to join and talk in our Discord server, being able to request videos at the $10 tier using video tickets. Those are just some of them, and so if any of those things interest you guys should check it out, become a patron, join our lovely patrons and I in the Discord server, and I will see you all in another video. Bye guys!